Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to show my support for the motion before the House. That is the Consolidated Review Report of the Fiji Meat Industry Board 2015-2017 annual reports. I think the Honourable Prime Minister has touched on most of what I had intended to speak on, but I will try to speak on others that he may have left. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FMIB, or the Fiji Meat Industry Board, is a commercial statutory authority of government with the core function to protect, preserve and expand the meat industry in Fiji. The board's mandate is to control and regulate the slaughtering of livestock in Fiji. And it has continuously worked with the industry stakeholders to develop standards that meet Fiji's Food Safety Act 2009, as well as benchmarking it to international standards. In terms of FMIB's financial position, I think this has been alluded to by the Honourable Prime Minister. After successive losses, which show in this report, it has finally made a profit. But the important thing, Mr. Speaker, sir, to note that the bulk of revenue generated by FMIB is from the slaughter fees and not from the sale of carcass. A small portion of revenue is generated from the sale of processed meat meal and fish meal. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me provide some insights on our partnership, the partnership between the Ministry of Agriculture and FMIB and its challenges. All meat inspection services at both the abattoirs are provided by the Ministry of Agriculture meat inspectors. From 2015, the Ministry and FMIB have worked together in disposing and compensating for TB and brucellosis infected animals. The Ministry further collaborated with FMIB to ensure that productive female cattle were not slaughtered. They have continued to work together on meat surveillance to ensure that all animals slaughtered for sale is safe for human consumption. In this regard, I want to inform the House that we have extended these services out from the abattoirs to special gatherings and events such as funerals, religious festivities, kurbani, and the recent chiefly installation on Bow Island. Our meat inspectors were active right throughout the function. Through its assistance program in the livestock sector, the Ministry ensured linking up of smallholder farmers to formal markets. Example, the Goat Partnership Program and the Beef Development Program. In terms of the challenges, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Meat Industry Act 1969 is way too old and needs to be reviewed. The fees and charges, slaughter fees, are updated and was last reviewed in 2005. There has been low throughput and only 2 days of slaughter per week with barely enough to cover the operational cost. In terms of the location of the Nasino abattoir, it is situated in a highly populated residential area and central business district. If you look around the surroundings of where the abattoir is located, Mr. Speaker, sir, the landscape has changed so much over the years. It is now becoming a commercial center. And I have told the CEO of FMIB that he needs to start looking for somewhere to move, because sooner or later we will be told to move. In terms of illegal slaughtering, Mr. Speaker, sir, the increase in fees and charges may have a negative effect of increasing illegal slaughtering. But the ministry officials are prepared to work around the clock on supervising this. The cost of operations at the abattoir has been increasing over the years due to the degradation of the abattoir and equipment, and there also has been a high staff turnover. Most of the workers from the abattoir, Mr. Speaker, sir, have left for the Pacific Labour Scheme to work in the Australian meatworks industry. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of cattle supply, the main source of beef supply to the abattoir is from the dairy sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, for your information, those cattle that suffer from TB and brucellosis at 1 year can still be slaughtered and safe for consumption. In terms of cattle that come from Honolulu, a good number of cattle comes from Honolulu. And I know there are a lot of Honolulu associated parliamentarians. But the cost of bringing the cattle over to Vitilevu to be slaughtered in the abattoir is a disincentive to Honolulu farmers. And it's all the more reason to review the Fiji Meat Act 1969 to allow for the setting up of an abattoir in Honolulu. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of opportunities, in cattle production, the opportunity is in intensive cattle rearing. This is where you rear cattle in a controlled environment, and you use silage and other forms of feed to feed cattle without the cattle running around or in open pasture. The ministry had embarked on an embryo transfer program back in 2017, as alluded to by the Honourable Leader of Opposition. And I was the unfortunate one sent to Rockhampton to do the selection. We came back with 4 breeds of cattle. And in fact, one of them is the most expensive beef in the world, which is Wagyu. And to date, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have 9 Wagyu cows that are in Cornivia and are now around 3 months old. The other breeds, Mr. Speaker, sir, are Droughtmaster, Senopol, and one beef and dairy breed, which is the Brown Swiss. We made the selection of this breed because we visited a farm in Rockhampton where the farmer changed his whole herd of about 1,000 cattle to Brown Swiss. And we were convinced there and then that this breed should be good enough for Fiji because the weather in Rockhampton, Mr. Speaker, is just like Fiji. Very similar. But for Wagyu, we were fortunate because there were only 2 Itoke members of the team, and the rest of the team were all Hindus. So we managed to eat all the beef barbecue because we told them, if you eat the barbecue, I'll go and tell your parents in Fiji. But sorry, Mr. Speaker, that's just a joke. But the steak, Wagyu steak, virtually melts in your mouth. It's got that mumbling rate, which is the highest for any cattle in the world. And we have that here now in Fiji, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, I wish to highlight the following. In order to address the supply of throughput issues, the Ministry of Agriculture has been working with the farmers at farm gate, as well as those throughout the value chain. Over the years, we have seen a rise in illegal slaughter and sale of meat, and the Ministry has been working with the Ministry of Health, the Biosecurity of Fiji, and the Fiji Police Force in raising awareness. During the current financial year, the Ministry and FMIB will work together with the Office of the Solicitor General to start the review process of the Meat Act 1969, and a draft review shall be taken for public consultations. Furthermore, the Ministry of Agriculture has provided FMIB a capital grant of over $380,000 in the 2020-2021 budget and $400,000 in the 2021-2022 budget and 2022-2023 budget respectively. The funds have been used to upgrade the Nasinu and Wunda abattoirs to ensure the facilities are HACCP certified. Mr. Speaker, the government will continue to assist in providing strategic direction and support to FMIB in leveraging the standard of meat that are internationally benchmarked for safety, hygiene, and quality. Therefore, I am in support of the review report before the House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.